Let's take a look at this Bonafide XTR130 build I've got here and see how we've got it set up for tournament fishing. I've been working on this for a while, taking my time, but I wanted to do it right. So let's take a look and see what we got going on. We're going to start in the back. I am going to be running a power pole micro anchor this year. That's new to me. Just got that. But on the back here, this is where I'm powering everything. And I've got my onboard charger here for my batteries that are inside the black pack box here. But one thing you'll notice, I've got 36 volts there. And I've also got a 24 volt access panel there. And we'll talk about that in a moment. Up here, this is a 36 volt to 24 volt DC converter. I did that because it's powering the Starlink off of 24 volts. And then over on this side here, I've got a power port in here that's going to power my camera equipment and charge my phone and such. But yeah, coming out pretty darn clean. So inside the box here, I've got 3 Lifetime 100 amp hour 12 volt batteries. I've got these wired in series, putting out 36 volts. Pretty solid system. Actually, right now I've got this unplugged, so it's actually set up for 24 volts. If I flip that on, boom, now I'm putting 24 volts out here. Turn that off, plug these two in, flip that 36 volt breaker on. Now I'm running 36 volts out there. And the reason I'm doing that is I have a Garmin force current motor as well that I can mount on this. And actually the mount is always going to live here. I'm going to move the micro anchor, put it over here, have that force current mount there. And that's, I won't run it much on this boat, but for some shallow water lakes and things, I might want to run that motor. I have it to run on my Hobie Outback, actually. That's what we've got going on inside there. And then in here, I brought the wires up. This is the Starlink power port comes through here. Wiring came through, and there's my power port over there. In the front here, that's my onboard charger for my electronics battery, which I'm running up front. This is the Starlink system. I'm running that. Some people might think that that's a bit much for a kayak, and I probably would agree as well. But here in Arizona, we've got coverage problems. We've got some remote lakes that we fish, and coverage is terrible. And quite honestly, it's a safety thing for me. My wife likes to know where I'm at. If I get in trouble, I want to be able to make a phone call and get some help. And then uploading fish. I can get my fish uploaded, and actually, the people that I'm fishing against, if they're near me, they're welcome to upload their fish as well. This year, something new to me is I'm running some horizontal rod storage instead of vertical. I am running vertical rod storage. I can put 8 on this black pack. On my Hobie Pro Angler, I could put 12. But I'm okay with just 8 because I've got 3 on this side and 3 on that side that I can put. It was important to me if I'm going to do horizontal storage. I don't want these rods in the way. I don't want them, sticking way out here to the side where it's going to bang into trees and bushes and things. Look how inside the kayak that rod storage is. It's inside the kayak. And that's where I wanted it. I don't want it sticking off to the side where it's going to catch on things. And the other thing that was important, especially on this side of the boat, is that it was not impeding my fishing. This is the side of the boat that I land my fish on, right? I'm landing the fish on this side of the boat. I don't want things in my way. And quite honestly, I don't feel like that's in my way. I can flip a fish up over top of that pretty easy. Whereas I don't want to be fighting my paddle and my graph and everything and trying to get a fish over there. Although I will sometimes, but most of the time my fish are going to come here. behind the seat here, I got plenty of room here. My cooler goes back here. Essential here in Arizona to have a cooler with some cold water or cold beverages. I'm going to do my tackle storage under the seat. I went with this right here. It's holding plenty of tackle, quite honestly. I could have put a bigger one in there, but I wanted room for some of my soft plastics as well. You can see how I'm bringing the power through the ports there. I do highly suggest the Hobie power ports. You can actually put 3 of these if you're using the Hobie. If you're using the Yak Attack ones, which are great, and I've used a couple on this boat. Nothing wrong with the Yak Attack ones. But yeah, that's nice and clean, and that's the whole idea of this boat. I want it clean and fishable. So all that front deck is open. I had a lot of guys are putting their graphs here, and that's great. You know, that works for them. But I want it open. I don't want to, you know, get tangled up in anything. I don't want to trip over anything. You might have seen a video I just released here recently where I fell here, but that was pure muscle memory from the Hobie. Whenever I was standing up in the Hobie, the seat was right behind me and I could sit right down, but I went to sit down here and fell pretty hard. Anyway, under here, I haven't completely decided what I'm going to put under here. I am going to have a little bit of tackle. It's originally where I was going to have a bunch of my tackle, but it is not now. And the reason for that is I found when I'm fishing, a lot of times I've got things up on here. I might have some rods laying here or something like that, and I've got to move all that stuff to get in here and get to my fishing stuff. And that's why I decided to go back under the seat for that storage. But I'm running the aux beam system here. The aux beam is going to run my cargo lights there. I call this the fish box, and that's got a light too. Lights all that up, kind of cool, and actually plenty of light in there. I like the red light so it doesn't blind me so much, and doesn't attract the bugs as much. And then also I've got 2 more lights here that are for the other hatch, lighting up where I've got my you know, all the brains of the system in there. And then these 2 here are for USB ports that I actually haven't put in yet. I have a 30 amp circuit breaker here that actually I put this here so whenever I turn that off, I've got 0 battery drain to that 16 volt battery in the front hatch. So pretty sweet. Lots of storage room in there. I am running the sniper pole. Probably saw that. I had this on my Hobie Pro Angler. I don't know if that'll be the permanent mount, but for now, that works great. But I certainly like this Sniper Marine pole. It's great. I almost forgot the brains. So inside here, I did put some white lights in there. That's why it's nice and bright inside there. That's so if I ever have a problem and it's nighttime, I can get in there and work. Super pleased with the way this came out. It's very, very clean. I do have a NEMA network system there. My Steadicast is hooked up and both of my graphs are hooked up to that. Steadicast I actually have mounted down in there in front of the battery. There we go. You can see it there. Boom, Steadicast. That doesn't have to be up on the deck or anywhere. It can be inside your boat. Obviously, that's my live scope controller. This ground bus here is only used for my live scope. I think it's very important to ground your live scope separately so you don't get interference from other things. And then from that bus bar, it's actually grounded directly to the battery. There's my aux beam system. This is my other bus bar for grounds, and everything else is grounded here and back to the battery, of course. And then my Blue Sea Systems fuse box there. So super cool. This Blue Sea Systems here is only my for my graphs and my live scope and such, and for the aux beam system. And then off of the aux beam, I have you know, my lights and things are running through the aux beam, obviously. And the battery, I went with the Lifetime 16 volt, 70 amp hour battery. Should give me plenty of juice, plenty of juice. Yeah, that's my system. Super clean. Plugs in here. Behind that panel, every component, every wire for each component. I have a waterproof connector behind there, so I can quickly disconnect everything, and they're all marked. Every wire is marked, so whenever I'm looking, I know right away what that wire goes to back in the boat. And again, that makes it for easy troubleshooting if you ever have a problem. That's it. I'm running the Guardian Angel lights for my nav lights. There we go. And then I'm also running the Garmin Kraken. This is a beast. 36 volts, I don't know, 100 and something pounds of thrust. It hauls. I'm getting 6 mile an hour out of this boat. Loaded up. I'm getting 6 mile an hour out of it. No, that's pretty fast, plenty fast for me, but super pleased with it. Definitely got to have a paddle on the XTR130. I went with the bending branches. Use this mount here. I think it's great. Of course, your catch board, that's a must-have. I utilized just a paddle holder, really, for the catch board, and I've seen other people do that as well, and works out pretty good, for sure. If you're not running something like this on your boat, you're missing out, because this is a great tool to just stick your rod in, and if you have to retie or anything like that, or after you catch a fish, boom, you put your rod right there. It's real quick and easy to access. I forgot to mention my battery pack here is, I use some cork yoga blocks here to level it up because of that thing in the back. It is sitting on a plate that I created here, and I've screwed it to that plate, and this plate is held on by the tie down points that are pre-drilled into this boat. And then I also added this strap here just to keep this nice and secure on the boat. I mean, that thing's not going anywhere. Well, I wanted to show this as well. This is some Kayak or whatever. And I put that underneath to protect the boat. You can already see that it's helping, certainly. Anyway, this is how I rigged mine. There's lots of ways to do it, and I'd say none of them are wrong. But this works for me, and I think it's a super efficient setup for tournament fishing. So let me know in the comments what you think. If you've got any ideas for me, put those in the comments too. I'd love to see them. I definitely respond to all the comments that I get. So once again, thanks for watching. Tight lines.